WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. There's a new marshal in town. Tonight, town leaders in Caledonia agreed to accept the resignation of former Marshal Ben Kilgore and appoint John Peavy as the interim marshal. Our Quentin Smith was at tonight's special called meeting. And Quentin, this entire situation has been stirring up conversation all across town.
That's right, Scott. It's been stirring up conversation and controversy. Several residents and town leaders, including the mayor, Mitch Wiggins, took to social media to express their concerns surrounding this situation. It was this past Friday when Kilgore announced he'd be stepping down from the position. However, Mayor Wiggins says Kilgore was actually placed on paid administrative leave prior to his resignation. Now, according to Wiggins, Kilgore was placed on leave for multiple reasons, including personnel issues between Kilgore and other deputy marshals, as well as issues involving Kilgore's disagreements with certain policies that the Board of Aldermen passed during its meeting just last week. Tonight, the board unanimously agreed to accept Kilgore's resignation and appoint Peavy as the interim marshal. The board will now take applications for the position over the next 2 weeks, and they're expected to permanently appoint someone to the marshal's position at its next board meeting. Scott?
Intense moments there. That was the end of Terry Pierce Jr.'s short bit of freedom this afternoon. According to the Mississippi Department of Corrections, Pierce was found to be missing from the Noxubee County Community Works Center around 4 this evening. Noxubee County Sheriff Terry Grassery says Pierce stole a vehicle, leading law enforcement from several agencies on a chase that ended in a crash at the intersections of Highway 16 and 45 there in Scuba. MDOC is still investigating exactly how Pierce escaped. Pierce was serving 15 years out of Pearl River County for aggravated assault and fleeing from law enforcement officer convictions back from 2009. Now, if convicted of escape, he could be sentenced up to 5 additional years in prison. An unusual and illegal way of stocking the liquor cabinet lands a woman in jail. Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson says 27-year-old Alicia Moan Brooks is charged with impersonating an officer. Brooks was picked up Monday after an area liquor store reported that she was inside the store claiming to work for the State Alcohol Beverage Control Commission. Now, the suspect would tell store owners she was there to seize certain types of liquor from the shelves. Her bond is set at $1,000 on that felony charge. A 22-year-old Oxford man is charged with sexual battery. Karen Kynes was arrested on January 3rd. Back on December 7th, OPD investigators took a report of a sexual assault. They say the victim was able to identify Kynes during that investigation. Kynes is in the Lafayette County Detention Center and his bond is set at $25,000. A former police chief and the city that employed him are facing a federal lawsuit. A complaint filed in federal court states that Tito Lopez and the city of Calhoun City violated a former officer's First Amendment right. Former Calhoun City officer Greg Stockwell is suing for wrongful termination after stating that he faced retaliation for responding to a domestic call that was at then the Chief Lopez's home. Back in May of 2017, Stockwell was dispatched to that domestic disturbance. The complaint states that Lopez's girlfriend answered the door and that Lopez was agitated and stood back from the door. Stockwell claims that Lopez ordered him to leave and he complied. The next day, Stockwell met with Lopez, who asked if he talked about the situation to anyone. Stockwell said he spoke to the dispatcher and deputy on duty. That's when Stockwell says things took a wrong turn. Stockwell claims that Lopez told officers not to back him up and shun him. The complaint states that Lopez made up false complaints against Stockwell to fire him, which happened in July of 2017. Stockwell is asking for back pay and benefits, compensation for damages, and attorney fees. Time now to toss things over to meteorologist Jacob Dickey, who's standing by with a first look at our forecast. Hey, Jacob.
Hey Scott, right now we are looking at a mostly cloudy sky across the area, but things are staying dry. Not seeing anything out there. Columbus, Starkville, West Point, or Louisville, really anywhere right now. A little bit of moisture that there is off to our north into our east. Really some showers up through the Appalachian Mountains there. The northeast seeing some wintry weather in our area. We're on the tail end of this cold front, the tail end of the system, so there's a lot of low clouds, but not much in the way of showers. I think tonight maybe a few showers pop up in the board, but overall things look to be quiet, much like they are now. If you get a shower tomorrow through tomorrow, no big deal. Temperatures tonight will be falling into the mid-50s across the area. Again, I think maybe an isolated shower is possible. Won't do anything as far as flash flooding is concerned. There is, however, some heavy rain in the forecast. I'm going to talk about that coming up here in just a few minutes. Scott?
Lee County supervisors approve an ordinance targeting blighted properties. As Allie Martin reports, the action comes after some residents complained about trash and other debris on some lots that many believe could be a health hazard.
Gladys Betts has lived in South Lee County for more than 3 decades and says years ago her neighborhood used to be a source of pride. She says it's now an eyesore.
And I'm so embarrassed for friends and relatives to come to my house.
Betts and homeowners in other parts of Lee County brought photos like these, showing what they claim is the main problem: rental properties full of items such as tires, broken appliances, and other trash. The residents say landlords simply don't care.
Using their property as an investment while taking our investment and our property down. Have written letters, have talked to them, and nothing happened.
The ordinance approved by supervisors is meant to bring relief to homeowners like Betts. The property maintenance ordinance would allow complaints to be filed about a property with junk vehicles, overgrown grass, excessive trash, and other issues that could be considered a public health hazard. A hearing officer would then investigate. If the hearing officer finds a property is a health hazard, the ordinance spells out what will happen next. The county can order the owner to clean the property up, and if that doesn't happen, the county can step in, clean up the property, and send the bill along with a fine to the owner. It could end up in a lien against the property.
After 3 years, it'll be sold at a tax sale, and just like if you don't pay your property taxes, so it'll give them a reason to want to clean their place up, I can promise you.
The ordinance takes effect in 30 days. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
WCBI reached out to the landlord who owns the property shown in those photographs, but he said he had not had time to review the ordinance, so he declined to comment. A Chickasaw County resident that is wants supervisors to take a closer look at the proposed contract for operating the county-owned nursing home. A tentative deal with Orchard Management calls for the county to receive $6,000 a month for the next 25 years. The request given to the board today questions whether that amount is large enough and whether the county is getting accurate income numbers from the nursing home. Although supervisors have okayed a final contract between the county and Orchard has not been signed. Law enforcement was also on the agenda for the Webster County Board of Supervisors today. The county is dealing with a January 2nd Circuit Court ruling stripping power from Sheriff Tim Mitchell and putting a new sheriff in charge, and also how the county is now expected to pay for 2 people for sheriff. When WCBI first arrived to the meeting, county leaders were in executive session. Supervisors approved adding last week's circuit ruling on the minutes for their next meeting on the 14th. The board also approved for the county attorney to investigate the double pay for sheriff and any legal counseling involving the situation. As the meeting was wrapping up, the board's attorney said they advised supervisors to refrain from speaking about the current situation any more than they have to due to the potential litigation. Supervisors did decline to go on camera.
We may very well see a few isolated showers as we go through this evening into the overnight hours. However, as we look forward here, really, cold air is coming back for us. Some more seasonal winter temperatures are on the way. Also have to talk about some heavy rain in the forecast. I'm going to have all of that and more coming up here in just a bit.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
Well, right now this evening, temperatures are quite mild compared to where we should be this time of year, sitting at 60 in Tupelo. South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour will continue through the overnight hours. We've also got some low clouds in place here, and that's helping to keep things a bit warmer out there. Again, seeing those temperatures upper 50s and low 60s across the board. 59 in Starkville, 60 in West Point, 61 in Corinth, 59 in Iuka. So long as we have that south wind, that helps to bring in some warmer air. We also have those clouds helping to act like a blanket. Basically what we have is that thin layer of clouds clouds that's above the surface there, it helps to reflect the heat in the form of radiation back to the surface. We call it the blanket effect, and very much allows us to stay much milder tonight, with our highs only falling into the our lows tonight falling into the middle 50s. Our highs, average highs this time of year, should be in the low 50s, so very well above average here as we get through that first week of January. Things are about to change, though. This cold front off to our north and to our west, slowly heading in a direction. As it does so, some clouds will stay in place. Again, some isolated showers through the overnight hours. Not a lot. Many of us, I think, are staying dry. By the time we get to Tuesday morning, things will start to clear out. Winds will then shift behind the front back to the north and to the west. That's going to help to usher in some cooler air as we head into Tuesday night. Still, though, I think, Tuesday looking pretty good. We'll get some sunshine there late morning, afternoon, evening hours here. Temperatures heading for the mid to upper 60s. One last day of spring. Still, though, maybe a little bit more blustery than it was today. A little bit more of a chill to the air, but 69 won't feel that bad in the beginning of January here in Columbus. 71 in Macon, 68 in Winona and in Eupora. West Alabama, I've got some mid to upper 60s. 66 in Fayette, Vernon, and in Solent, and more mid to upper 60s in Tupelo. 66 Tupelo, 65 in New Albany, 64 in Oxford. Maybe just a little cooler there. That colder air gets in just a little bit earlier. As far as those temperatures, though, here as we go through the next couple hours, only falling into the middle 50s. Warm on Tuesday during the day, but we are back into the 30s by Wednesday morning as that cold air comes in. This high pressure is going to help bring north flow into our area, bring in some more cold Canadian air as we head to Wednesday and on Thursday. And then we also have to watch another system coming on through across the south here towards the weekend. Could bring another 1 to 2 inches. Going to be centralized between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think we're dry for the most part up until then. Here it comes. Notice off to our south and to our west, a developing low pressure will approach our way. Saturday looking very wet across our area. Cloudy, gloomy, not a good day for any outdoor plans. As we go through the day Saturday, then that low will slide over our area, much like most of the systems do this time of year before it moves out. Sunday by the afternoon looking dry, a mix of sun and clouds, but staying on the cooler side of things. As far as those highs, enjoy that last little nugget of spring on Tuesday. Wednesday, lots of sunshine. There's a positive. Still, though, a 20-degree drop from where we were Tuesday afternoon. Only expecting upper 40s and low 50s. Thursday, even colder. As we get into Friday night, that's when the showers will begin in the area. Saturday, seeing some rain. 1 to 2 inches is what we're a ballpark estimate as of now. Showers will wrap up by midday on Sunday.
Rain and roads don't mix well. Lately, we're seeing the truth behind that as we hit the highways. Jory Talley looked at some of the damage firsthand and finds out how one county is smoothing out the ride.
We've all been there, driving down the road and all of a sudden you hit a pothole or rut, and your tire's worst enemies seem to spring up more after a heavy downpour and when it's cold outside. Oktibbeha County is feeling the weather's impact.
The excessive amount of rain has increased the problems in all the counties, what happens is these paved roads that already have some base failure in them, some cracks in them, when the water fills the cracks and the vehicles drive over the cracks and it just makes potholes. And then one car gets and the pothole gets larger and larger and larger. So we've seen that a lot.
District 4 Supervisor Brickley Miller says repair is only half of it. There are also extra maintenance issues.
Of course, on the dirt roads in the county, just the ability for the water to flow off of the roads and the culverts filling with the leaves and stuff.
But that's also something the county tackles on a regular basis.
In District 4, we resurfaced about 16 miles of roads already in this term. So the newer roads and the resurfaced roads are not seeing these issues, but you have so many miles of roads that still need some maintenance.
Miller says a break in the rain will give them a chance to get to work on filling those potholes.
You have to rake the water out of them before you put the coal mix in, because if you don't, it just comes right out. It won't stick to the base. And then as far as cleaning the ditches, we're just back cleaning the ditches and grading our gravel roads, to pull that rock back to the top so they'll be easier for our constituents to drive on.
Miller says road work will continue as long as the weather stays dry. Well, when we come back, we have tips to make sure your hunt for a trophy doesn't turn to tragedy.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. As hunting season continues, we want to make sure our outdoor enthusiasts are staying safe. We learn more tonight in our Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Maggie Alexander, a trauma nurse at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle. Tonight, I want to talk to you about how to avoid a hunting-related accident when hunting from a tree stand. The number one cause of hunting-related injuries isn't the firearms themselves, it's falls from tree stands. Many falls happen when tree stands are poorly constructed or when old wooden stands come apart or become detached from the tree. Because of this, it's safest to avoid using homemade tree stands. If you do use a wooden stand, replace any broken or rotten lumber and inspect all bolts and fasteners, making sure they're secure and in good condition. You should place your stand only in healthy, mature trees that have strong limbs. Remove any logs or stones from the base of the tree to reduce injury in case of a fall. When climbing into a tree stand, maintain 3 points of contact at all times. Remember to climb above the level of the platform and step down onto it. Wear non-slip boots and place a non-slip covering over the floor of the stand. Never put all of your weight onto a single limb or part of the tree stand, and never fall asleep in the tree stand. Most importantly, you should always use a full body safety harness when sitting, standing, or climbing into a tree stand. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist when we'll discuss the importance of wearing a full body safety harness when hunting from a tree stand.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
The Mississippi State men get back to business. More on the Bulldogs' first SEC matchup coming up next in sports.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb.
While other SC teams have begun conference play, Mississippi State still has not, but that all changes come tomorrow. The Bulldogs begin the conference grind against South Carolina, and while Mississippi State hasn't played a game since last year in 2018, the Gamecocks already have a road SEC win against Florida. And although the Dogs haven't played in a hot minute, they're still coming off of a 9-game winning streak. And one game in particular, that last game against BYU, that State boasted a 103-81 win. Eric Holman leading the way in that game with 28 points, combining with Q Weatherspoon for 50+. But even though it's been that hot minute since the Bulldogs have seen game action, Coach Ben Howland looks at the time off as beneficial.
I only look at it as positive. I think we got a lot done with our practices, and we're able to do a lot of things to try to shore up some things, improve, and at this point, there is no break. It just keeps coming hereafter. And the reason why we had that happen to us is we're one of the 4 teams that is not playing the Big 12 Challenge, and so because of that, we had the longer stretch here at this time of year, and we're, knock on wood, reasonably healthy right now, and have had good practices with rest in between, lifting, getting back to get in the weight room, which we missed a lot during the Christmas. We went 8 days without a lift, so I think all of that's a real positive for us.
Ole Miss has its start to conference play on Saturday and its first SEC win in large part because of junior guard Breein Tyree. Tyree, named SEC Player of the Week, had a career night with a career high of 31 points in the Rebels' win at Vanderbilt. The win marked the 8th straight win for the Rebels. It was the highest point total of any player in an SEC opener. Tyree currently ranks 2nd in the SEC in scoring, averaging around 18 points per game, 3rd from the field with 53%, and 4th at the line with 83%. It's the first SEC Player of the Week honor of the year. The first SEC Player of the Week honor of the year for Ole Miss. Head coach Kermit Davis says Tyree's improvements are a sign of his maturity.
So his life is real simple. He's maturing those kind of ways. His loud voice in the gym every time you come to practice. And when all those things, all the academics, leadership, loud voice, work ethic, if you got talent, then you'll start seeing it, and sometimes these guys can't get it all right. The academic lacks, and he's struggling, or he's fighting this a little bit, or fighting the leadership part a little bit, or so all those things, I'm telling you, but when they all kind of come in line and you get a guy that talented, then that's what you'll see. You'll see a guy that'll, he'll evolve as one of the best players in the SEC, but now can repeat the process every single day, handle success, and being able now, when teams are really keying on him, just keep doing it. You know, not trying to get 31 every night, but playing like that.
Well, congratulations are in order for current Mississippi State quarterbacks coach Terrell Buckley for being named to the 2019 College Football Hall of Fame class. The Florida State alum was selected earlier today. Buckley was a former All-American cornerback and spent 14 years in the NFL. First being drafted as the 5th overall pick by the Green Bay Packers in 1992, during which he had 50 interceptions and went on to win a Super Bowl with the New England Patriots. A native to the state of Mississippi, Buckley played high school football at Pascagoula High School, assisting in a state championship and undefeated season in 1987. Buckley has helped coach the Bulldogs since 2016. Now to check in on the 2019 College Football National Championship. Current score as of right now, Clemson still leading the way in dominating fashion, 44-16 over the #1 Crimson Tide, folks. I can't believe this game, and I've been watching the entire thing. Clemson has led 31-16 at halftime. Tua had 2 interceptions, equal to the amount of interceptions that he had all season long. Clemson scoring 28 unanswered points. Lawrence completing 19 of his 29 passes. That's going to be it for sports. Your last look is coming up after the break. Stick with us.
We'll see a few isolated showers overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Lows tonight only into the 50s. Big change, though, to Tuesday night. Still warm during the day Tuesday, but temperatures take a tumble. Tuesday night back into the 30s. I think we're in the 20s as we start Thursday morning. A bit cold out there. Winter is coming back, but on the bright side of things, we're holding off the rain for a few more days. Looks like showers will start Friday night, through the day on Saturday, wrap things up by Sunday afternoon.
Oh, that sounds good. A good day to stay in, make some taco soup.
There
Too
you
bad
go.
I can't have that, though.
More winter
well.
things.
All right. Have a good night. We'll see y'all tomorrow.